Insecurity. Collaboration between Nigeria, United States yielding results. Bwala. Which result is it yielding? Yeah. Bwala is the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy communication. In this interview, monitored on channels, I don't know why they are always calling it for interview. He speaks on federal government engagement of United States based lobbying firm on Christian genocide reports, recent kidnapping in Kaduna State, and the forthcoming 2027 presidential election, amongst other issues. Anayo Ezugo reports. They say you have been everywhere talking about this government. Is it a difficult job to do? To defend the Bola Tinubu administration? It's easy for them because saying I lie, they lie up and down. So for me, it's as easy as playing football before uncle. When I was young, because when you are a messenger or a spokesperson, the key thing is that you should know the principles and the message. You should have knowledge of your principal and understand his body language, because there are times you'll be called upon to react to issues even when you have not yet met him. But if you have studied him enough and have had considerable time with him, you will have an idea of where he stands. How many considerable time has you, Bwala, had with Tinubu? I don't think you've had any reasonable amount of time that you've actually spent with the president. Stop lying. If you have an idea of where he stands at every given time. Let's talk about this Christian genocide propaganda. It kind of rubs off a little harsh on the people who are victims of what they believe to be genocide against them. Don't you think so? Because I engage with the large communities of interest in respect to this field, I can tell you authoritatively that most of the times when you hear the victims expressing such frustration, they are expressing what they are told to believe, that it's a Christian genocide. You talk. The concern of people who are victimized is to end insecurity. It is for them not to have their families bite. I just told you about the amplification by the indigenous people of Biafra that the bites in Nigeria were more motivated by religious sentiments. Take for example, you mentioned the Obata. If you as a journalist do a little more investigation, you'll find out that there are conflicts in that part of the country. Which country? Is the Obata a country? Abi a state? That sometimes has been between members of the same clan or community, but the picture portrayed about insecurity in that place is genocide against Christians, because it's convenient to say that because the people in that state are predominantly Christians. It is a Christian genocide, Bwala, whether you like it or not. If you apply this same case scenario with a place like Zamfara, where you see mine as well in similar proportion or even more voluminous as that one in this case, why are they not saying that it's genocide against Muslims? Abi, is that why people are sending people to Kwara State to buy people so that the equation can balance? Because there's nothing people cannot do. And going to buy innocent people just to prove that, it is not a Christian genocide, Abi? Okay. Is it still buying and the larger population of those who are suffering, they are Muslims? But if you don't tag a name that will be politically suitable to drive an agenda, then you cannot get international attention. Really? Okay. The interviewer asked again, is it an agenda that has cost the government $9 million to engage lobbyists? He said it's not even $9 million to begin with. Secondly, it is really intriguing that even the spokesperson of the opposition, who says something before he thinks, came up and said that engaging lobbyists is wrong. Who is the spokesperson of the opposition? He will do well to ask his principal if there is anybody who believes in that concept. Very well, it's his principal. Those who have seen the document registered with the Department of State can tell that. But what is the key issue there? The key issue is that we all practice and procedure in the United States. Their partners, countries like the United Kingdom, you look at the state of Israel, and most of these advanced countries, they have lobbyists in Washington on behalf of their government. In England and the rest of the world, it's different. But in the United States, the way it runs, even with US citizens and government, they still engage lobbyists. All countries that are relating with the United States have lobbyists as well as ambassadors. Tell us more now. The interviewer asked, are we getting the bang for our buck and is our money working? He said, definitely. The journey started with the presidential directive for me to go and engage with the Western world, if you recall, and we achieved remarkable success. Indeed, which brought us to the table, and in order to further that conversation, we came up with these dynamics. But then, before then, it was not like that, and we knew it. How did we know? For example, in those days, anything that happens in Africa, the Western media rely on correspondence they have in those countries or sometimes third-party information, and they blow it. And oftentimes, agenda is driven along that line. But President Tinubu is in his usual wisdom, felt nobody can tell the story better than us, and he said, go and speak to the Western media, and I can tell you, because if you check CNN, Reuters, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, AP, BBC, Sky News, all of them, as soon as we return, because of their engagement, their finding is that they agree with us. No, so, he said, is the story about the screwdriver seller real? He said it is real. He is the founder of the International Society for Civil Liberties and Human Rights, and it is that organization that the New York Times referred to. It is that organization that wrote that report in August and updated it in September. If you are talking about research and reporting, you have to look at data. Look at how the sampling was done. Look at how the survey was done. Who are the people that provided the source information? He admitted that most of the sources from whom he got information are people who he would not verify. As a matter of fact, as an organization, its report had little or nothing that came from them. They were all secondary and third-party sources, and when you look at the same report and his impression about the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob and ASN, from the first page to the last page, he refused to admit that there was an ASN and that they pied people in Southeast. As a matter of fact, what he said in that same report is that the pine in the Southeast were perpetrated by Nigerian security forces and under the pretext that they are saving the Nigerian people against ESN, and that because ESN is affiliated to Israel so as to draw the sympathy of the Israeli. That was the report that Ted Cruz referred to, and Ted Cruz was the one that amplified it and got other congressmen to buy into it. So are you telling us that Ted Cruz is lying or what? And got the congressmen to buy into it, and it was all on that basis that President Trump reacted. Oh, we hear you, now so. So that was the report that Ted Cruz referred to, and Ted Cruz was the one that amplified it and got other congressmen to buy into it, and it was on that basis that President Donald Trump acted. Okay, no wahala. He said, in this impasse in Rivers State between Wike and Fubara, many people are asking President Tinubu to wade in again. He said the president believes in the rule of law. Now so, a rule-based practice. Now so, with respect to the party affairs, what the national chairman said is a position the president sticks to because he respects party procedures. Some say Wike has done a lot for the administration, but he was given that privilege. Oh, so you know that. I beg, he believes in the rule of law indeed. Liar. Hey, listeners, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.